Hi there, and thank you for joining us for this Vaxxy demonstration video. In this video, we'll be demonstrating how you can run a consultation for a patient that has requested an appointment at your pharmacy, and how you can basically request a prescription from the Vaxxy prescribers for the vaccination or anti-malarial tablets you're looking to administer. This is particularly important um, video to get a good understanding of how the consultation process works on this platform. So if I was to start by signing in, um, just sign in as the pharmacy account once again. And as you can see, we've got an appointment waiting here that we are going to quickly accept. So the appointment's been set. This is just for test purposes. And if I go to my scheduled appointment, I can see the appointment is here, appointment number 11. Patient details can be found on the side, and I am ready to start my appointment. So again, you can confirm the patient details here, and what we would suggest is basically before starting on this page, just previous, confirm all these details when the patient first comes in, and then update it as necessary. And once you are happy with it, to save them, just click on update patient details. Then you can go in to start an appointment. Again, you can see the details here again. Two additional fields on this page would be GP details. If the patient wants to inform their GP, you can record the details here, and then you can send correspondence to them separately. And you've got the clinician note. This is just for general note taking. And if there's going to be many areas where you can take notes about the appointment or the consultation, but this is just a particular holding box where you can start to take notes. So we now click on proceed to consultation, and you are faced with some past medical history questions for the patient, such as allergies, and it's a literal yes or no question. So you basically work your way through them, answering each one. And it also asks about medications they may be prescribed. Basically, we're just capturing the relevant information to complete this consultation. Once you've completed that, you can save them. Important thing is just coming back is before you complete or save each page, it's important to double check your answers and basically ensure that you're happy with them, because it's just you want to ensure that before you submit that page or save that page, everything's correct, because you might not have a chance to check it again later on stage before it goes for um, approval by the Vaxxy prescriber. Now this page next page is saying where is this patient traveling. So we're just going to say they're going to Afghanistan, or if you want a second country, just click it basically, and they are all added in. But let's just stick with Afghanistan for the purposes of this appointment. And then it will say see vaccination tablets. Basically, the next page tells you all the vaccinations that are advised for Afghanistan. So these have been programmed in. So it's telling us that 3 vaccinations are advised for Afghanistan. You've got diphtheria, tetanus, and polio. You've got typhoid and Hep A. Then it tells you in a separate section, these are the vaccines that aren't considered to be essential, but ones that you might want to consider depending on the nature of the person's trip. And it says at the moment it's set as malaria tablets not being required. But say if the person wants malaria tablets, even though it's not essential in this part of the world, you can click on required, and then the malaria options will come up, and you can select the treatment that you want. And then you've got other vaccinations. These are the other vaccinations that Vaxxy offers that aren't necessarily suitable for Afghanistan, but if the patient says, I want my booster done today while I'm here for Japanese encephalitis, that's fine, you can select that. So to select a vaccine, we're going to say that this patient needs a. Actually, just before I go on selecting, I just want to show you one thing. This little I button, if you were to click it, the EMC comes up for each um, vaccination. It's actually a vaccine profile that's been produced by the prescribers at Vaxxy. So just some good information about the condition, good information about the vaccine and who can and cannot take it, where you can read it there. And that's available for all the vaccines as well as the malaria tablets. Now we're saying that this patient is going to need a hepatitis A and a typhoid. So we're combining the two to give a £75 jab. And as you can see, it's highlighted once I've selected the typhoid and hepatitis A. Now, the reason it's selected both of them is obviously these are the two combined conditions we are providing protection for in this vaccine. So the system understands that, look, now that we're giving typhoid, you can't give any other typhoid at the same time. So it will not let you select any other typhoid vaccine. At the same time, it will not let you select any other hepatitis A vaccine. This should ensure there's no duplication being done and any errors there. So they're getting hepatitis A and typhoid done. We'll also say that this patient wants a rabies vaccine as well, so that's done. And I'm not going to add this, but just say if you were to add a anti-malarial, literally click on it, and then you got a drop-down menu here, and it tells you number of tablets that's needed for the number of days travel. So if you're going 16 days, you need 46 tablets because it's 2 days before, 28 days after, and it will then update the price here accordingly and give you a total here, £162.20. That's for the vaccine and the malaria tablets. But we're going to remove the malaria tablets, so the total comes to £130 for the two vaccines: rabies, hepatitis A, and typhoid. So if I click on next, this just gives you an overview of what you've selected, and then you can double check it and continue. And this now, the next page is just a little bit more information we're gathering about the nature of the trip. So where will what is this trip? Is it a holiday? Yes, it is. Where will we be staying? I'm going to be staying in a resort. And then it tells you, can you give us details of your previous vaccinations, where you can just type into this box. And what are the dates that the patient is going to be traveling from? They're going for, let's call it from the 14th of December to the 24th of January. And are they feeling unwell today? No, they're not. Any immunizations? Nope. And have they understood the risks? Of course they have. We're happy. Now, this section, the next page is about a little bit about accountability and the importance of basically pharmacists basically ensuring that they have been only approved pharmacists can run this consultation. So what you'd have to do is select the pharmacist running the consultation and enter their password that they have with Vaxxy. This then says that we're happy to submit it, and it's saying, are you ready basically to submit your your consultation to the prescriber, who will then issue a prescription. And then do you want a double check thing? If need be, you would need to go back and confirm everything again. But I've checked everything, I'm happy for it, and I'm now going to send a request for a prescription. And it says now your order consultation is being reviewed by the prescriber, and they will basically then issue a prescription. So now this is where you'd have to wait and basically give a prescriber a few minutes to basically check this order or check the appointment details and issue your prescription electronically. So if you give it a couple of minutes and we just wait, and I'll just get the prescription issued on our end, and then we will press refresh, and then we should see our prescription. So I've just refreshed it, and it says your prescription is ready to download. So if I click on download, and you can see an electronic prescription for the item has been issued with the patient details, their email, obviously the date of birth, their address, as per the details captured in the appointment, the name of the clinician, the items that have been needed. So it's one item. One, you've got hepatitis A, and you've got basically the rabies. Now the important thing here is that basically we've got one vaccine of rabies that's been administered. We know the rabies schedule is normally 3 vaccinations done over around about 21-28 days. So this prescription is for the first dose only. Yeah, so that's how it would work. So for the next appointment, you'll get a separate prescription for dose number 2, right? So this is now being done. What you do, you basically print this off and then enter it into your private prescription register when you're ready. But now we want to continue with the administration. So technically, we can administer against this prescription. We are now legally allowed. So you click on administer, and now this would be after you've done your jab, patient's happy, and you tell the patient, please can you wait outside for 5 minutes just to make sure that they're fine. There's no issues, there's no risk of any fainting going on. It's always wise to tell post-vaccination, any vaccination, for the patient to hang around for a few minutes so you can keep an eye on them. During this time, what you can do is basically capture your details of any notes that you want to make. You can make it in this post-consultation page, and it tells you the batch numbers. So batch numbers for this would be, let's say that, and then you've got expiry date to enter, and site of injection, we put in the left deltoid, any particular jab notes you want to do. Same thing for this. Rabies vaccination, site of injection, we put in the left deltoid, and I'm happy now to submit this. So I've recorded that information, and I'm now finally at the payment page. Now, the payment page just tells us the total up here. It tells us, do you want to collect the payment and mark as complete? Yes, we do. And now you've got two payment methods basically that you can use. You can either pay via Vaxxy, which will basically take you to a Vaxxy payment screen. As you can see, it's a card payment screen via Vaxxy, and you can enter the details. So the money will go straight into a Vaxxy account. Or if I just go back, let's just go do that. Pay at the pharmacy. So that means the patient will be paying the pharmacy either via card or via cash. And it says the customer's opted to pay thingy, please £130. Please make sure you collect the payment, and when you mark it when it's on being marked as complete. So we're happy, we've marked it completed, right? Now, important thing, it says, do you want a follow-up appointment? Yes is the answer in this case. This is now going to enable us to book a follow-up appointment because we had a rabies in the last consultation, so we want to do rabies too. And now you would sit down with the patient. Obviously, you can book this and say, okay, I want you to come in a week's time from the date. I think the first date on this was, I can't recall it, but say if it's a week's time that date, and then you can just basically choose the availability. I want to come between 11 and 11:30, and then you add notes. Always good here to say this is what the plan was, basically saying that you've administered the first rabies dose on X date. This appointment will be for so that just gives us notes to understand what that appointment is about, and that basically you will be able to see that in your scheduled appointments when you look at the details for the appointment. So it's a good information, like it's an idea, so you know who's coming in on that day. So I am happy to book that appointment, and that appointment has been booked, right? The way I know it's been booked is if I go to my scheduled appointments, here it is, order number 12, and I can see this patient details are there. And you can see the previous order details right here. That's exactly what it is. And if I was to go into details, you can see all the previous information as well. And in the post-administration details, the jabs that you did, and that basically tells you what you're going to be doing next. Right, so that appointment has been booked, and that's how you'd come across a upcoming appointment or a follow-up appointment. That's how you book it, basically. So it's pretty straightforward. And what we can do, the important thing about this is you can come back and see all your completed appointments in the long run that you've done. Here's a completed appointment again, and you can see exactly what you've done, who did it, which clinician did it. Is a very, very good record keeping basically with Vaxxy, and you don't need to go through tons and tons of risk assessment forms either. So that's the beauty of the consultation process via this platform. So I hope that's been very clear. And if there's any questions that you have or anything that you need help with, by all means, you can contact us directly at Vaxxy. Thank you.